know, it's amazing. No hope. So you can read it, no hope, and you can say no hope. Remember hope. I call this wall the wall of despair.
Well, the All Nation Cafe was started by a group of Israeli, Palestinian, German, Canadian, Arab Israelis who we all met in the Mount of Olives in the time of the Second Intifada. And we all met around the house of Haji Ibrahim.
We start with the Whole Nation Cafe. I met Diane many years ago when we are on a peace walk around several days, and we met on the other side, and I brought all the group, I invite all the peace walker to home, and when they came home, Dan feel he want to be connected to us, and he been living here like 2.5 years. And from the beginning, we have the Whole Nation Cafe start here.
And from that house, from the spirit of hospitality in that house, we started to try to spread it out to the whole area, to East Jerusalem and then West Jerusalem.
It's my hope that we can create a new reality, and especially doing this caravan and being aware of what has been and what the history has been, but also with a new vision. Did not know. Do you want to say something about the peace vigil first?
Actually, Miriam can say, because
Miriam.
I only joined at the end.
For 3 years we were meeting here every Friday, and the idea was to have a prayer.
One time we returned 4 people from the Peace Vigil on Friday, and we were walking up the Mount of Olives until we reached that sign that says All Nations Cafe. And there was a little hut, little house closed behind that sign. I had a dream that I serve coffee under this sign, like in that hut, in that closed little house. I had a dream. A real dream, it's not a vision, it's a dream in the night.
The problem was that he's in here without a permission, and he's from the West Bank. Mahdi, the kid that Lisa brought, Mahdi. He's our friend. He's the brother of a very good friend of ours from Bethlehem, and he's not allowed to be in Jerusalem, without a permission. And we said, you're right. We're sorry. We didn't know. Next time we'll do it differently, and he let us go.
The soldier or the police, the military police, they say there is a law that nobody's allowed into Israel from Palestine. That's their law.
Right.
We have other laws that say that people are human beings everywhere. It's not an argument who has the right law or which law we should abide to. We abide to our laws, they abide to their law. That's his job, we do our job. Mm-hmm. The question is, he has a gun and a whole military network just around the corner next to the Wailing Wall. And we have, we have smiles, some creativity, a guitar maybe. Not much to protect our law. It doesn't mean that our law is weaker than his law or his law is more right than ours. Just what kind of instruments you have to protect that law, to enforce that law, because laws are contradicting sometimes. So the trick is, I think Daphna did it very well, the trick is not to lose faith in your law, not to get frightened by the gun and say, okay, you have a gun, so your law works. And also knowing a little bit the history, the law, these kind of laws, they're not exactly laws. There's commands, there's army procedures that are changing all the time. Sometimes kids can come, in special holidays they can come, other times they cannot come. So it's not like thou shalt not kill. So with these rules you can play around, and it's really in the hand of the policeman and the civilian, and what kind of communication is between them.
And the miracle.
Yeah. The Holy Land Caravan, something we thought about since the beginning, since 4 or 5 years ago. We wanted to bring people from all around the world and get the local people to host them, and to get a first-hand feeling of what it means to live in the Middle East, and also to get a feeling of the Israeli-Palestinian relationship, not just the political, but what's happening under the fabric of relationship here and the background where it's happening. Something you can't get really if you don't visit.
How many you are? Okay, you are most welcome. Where are you? I can send someone pick you up. Okay, you are most welcome. We have a home for you. From where are you? Huh? Ecuador. You are most welcome. Come. We have a bed and food for you. Okay. Bye. Bye.
We're walking down the Via Dolorosa and reaching here. This is the third station, which I think is one of the places also. As he's walking down his path, like he's falling like a few times, carrying his cross from where he was judged by the high priest, by Caiaphas. And I was making the analogy or the metaphor that we're talking as we're doing our mission or conviction in life, like there's a place like we always have those, we stumble, like we fall down, and like things that we get discouraged and I can talk about also like personally about the work with the All Nations Cafe, like we're also moments like we're like discouraged and people coming and not coming and can we do it, and things that are happening around us, when we did our camp 2 years ago, when there was like missiles, like my parents were sitting in a house and the missiles were being shot at them in Haifa, and at the same time I'm sitting with Palestinians here in the places where you're discouraged, like can we make a change, can we do something, like you're falling, but then like that this is your path, and like you get up and you continue.
The purpose of the Holy Land Caravan, it has two purposes. One is to gather all the energy from the last 5 years of operation of the All Nations Cafe, different projects in the Middle East, especially in Israel, Palestine, and to go and meet the people who were involved in their places and see the places. Thank God we've reached kind of a community sense. We've seen that in the caravan, in the wedding celebration party, that people really came to celebrate Simona and my union. People from all the communities, all the nationalities that are around here. And they all came as a community together to celebrate together. Jews, Muslims, Christians.
أنا اسمي عبد ربه معروف زي العلم في كل العالم. أنا في عندي 3 أمنيات بطلبهن. الأمنية الأولى بتمنى لديان ألف مبروك وبقول له عرس مبروك وسهرة حلوة بالرفاهة بالبنين، وإن شاء الله يكون معاك 10 أولاد زيي.
أنا اسمي عبد الله بدوي ساكن في عرب السواحلي، وألف مبروك لأديان وسيمونة، وإن شاء الله الشعب الإسرائيلي والشعب الفلسطيني بيكون زينا هيك عيلة واحدة، وبعم السلام في جميع أنحاء العالم، وشكرا.
The organization exists for 4.5 years. We started on Mount of Olives at a house of a good friend, Palestinian friend that lives at the top of the Mount of Olives. And we've been meeting in the past 2 years in spring near the Malcha Mall, near Canyon Malcha. We meet there Israelis and Palestinians from the West Bank with people from Europe and States. And now we have a whole week of gathering with people that have come from abroad, from Holland and from England, and people from here.
They came to visit here.
Yeah, they came to see it in the eyes of the to see Israel through the eyes of the All Nations Cafe.
If it's about the Palestinian and the Israeli conflict, so the best way to break with the two kids that fighting is maybe to give this a land and this a land. So let's say about Makkah and Medina, this is a very good place to move to. Vilot, Mercedes, 7 wives, oil, neft, gold, the very best and rich. So there's a lot of land to everyone. So leave the Israel here, move to Makkah and Medina.
שזה מקסים. אני חושבת שדברים כאלה רק יביאו לקירוב, והגיע הזמן שזה יעשה. שזה דיבור ומפגשים, זה באמת הפתרון. אני ממש בעד ארגונים כאלה, כמו צלם למשל, ומה שהיה לנו במכינה.
תודה.
ממש בעד זה.
תודה רבה לך, ורי. I would like to bless sorry, did I stop you? Bless everybody that's here together in a beautiful song that was written in our biblical language. Oseh shalom b'marav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imu amen. Oseh shalom b'marav,
أنا اليوم حبيت أكثر إشي لما فتت على الأقصى عشان أول مرة بفوتها. ما كنتش أعرف إنه القدس حلوة هالقد، لأني لما كنت عايشة هون ما كنتش أطلع، كنت أضل في البيت يعني. عشان هيك حبيت اليوم أكثر إشي.
So Ahlam says it was one of the best days of her life. She never been to actually in Al-Aqsa as an adult. Maybe she's been as a baby, but she doesn't remember anything. So it's the first time she's been to see the beauty of Al-Aqsa Mosque and Dome of the Rock. And also to see, she didn't know that Jerusalem is so beautiful, Al-Quds. So she's very, very happy.
حبيت كل الجروب.
And she loves all the group. And also Alice, she loves all the group.
I never had an experience before of having a soldier stop somebody that was with me and someone that I love, like Mehdi, and my heart just became really, really crazy, just so wild and wrapped up, and I've never felt that before. And imagine what it's like for all the Palestinian mothers watching their children. So when you have experience like that, it changes you forever, right? You can't see the same thing again in the same eyes. So.
This day was like another reason for it, like for the place of like connecting to people, connecting through the heart.
I felt like somehow the intention for this day was fulfilled. Like all the right angels and little devils just to provoke us showed up, but we passed the whole, like we embraced the friends and we embraced the foes, and I think it all worked out quite well.
So, Caravan, you've been saying how that you enjoy doing things for people, and you like to see people love each other, and regardless of where they're from or who they are.
I don't believe there is a problem between Israeli and Palestinian in this land, because a lot of people missing and gone and dying for nothing. All the land belongs to God, and we are all as a guest here. And in all the book of God say we have to love your neighbor as our brother, as ourselves. And never written in any book of God, you have to love your neighbor if he's Christian like you, or Muslim like you, or Jew like you. We have to come back to God and loving our neighbor and ourselves.
Yes. Thank you for coming to this house and taking time.
Come back again. You see, this is the house here. I have one bedroom here for those guests here. I have a Filipino, Korean, and Japanese. Hi, how are you? I've been sending some support to the camp, Aida camp in Bethlehem, and I find this brother walking lost there.
At first he called me, can I help you? I come from, but I am not don't say nothing, and I escaped from him because he looks funny, crazy. But only crazy man can break through situation here, I think.
A lot of non-governmental organizations are using the word peace or describe themselves as peacemakers or peace activists, when in fact what are they doing is reinforcing the conflict. For example, people who are fighting against the wall, we get all the time invitations to come and fight against the wall that is going to be built here next to El Khania and destroy our gatherings. This has been going on for 2.5 years. And we always refuse because each of these demonstrations we hear that people get hurt, especially internationals who are put in the front, they get hurt, they sent to hospitals, they don't know what they did. And then they get deported out of the country. I don't think they serve anything, just reinforcing the violence. The wall is just keep being building. While our way is to bring together the soldier, the settler, the guy who built the wall, maybe the Palestinian who built the wall, and the Israeli who arranged it for him, the job, and to bring them all together and to find out what do we have in common.
You see, this is the wall between Mount of Olives and Bethany. Behind Bethany, there is Ma'ale Adumim, the Jewish settlement, and the wall between Palestinian and Palestinian. The wall is not being built between Palestinian and Israeli. They make me as living in Israel in the green line, and the other side is my cousin, my nephew, my niece living there, and the wall has never been built here between Israeli and Palestinian.
We are entertained by brother Ibrahim here, Hajj Ibrahim, who is a distinguished member of the society in the Mount of Olives. And here he is in his own house, as usual, throwing his doors open for everybody.
That is my daughter Suhair.
We're breaking the Jewish fast of Tisha B'Av. With the beautiful kosher food that Abu Hava family is making on the Mount of Olives.
My aim is to have a tour, to travel around with people from both sides of this conflict, because it's illegal, it's wrong, it's amoral, really, what is going on in this country. The Holy Land, this is the Holy Land.
Dear friend, let me tell you how I feel. You have given me such pleasure. I love you.
The Whole Nation Cafe is it really blessing to bring Muslim and Christian and Jew together in one place where it's allowed for everyone to be there.
يوم بكون هون بحس اني شباب، برجع صغير، لأن روح أبوي، روح ستي، روح عمي، روح العيلة تبعي بشوفها هون ورا الأحجار في التراب تحت الشجر عند الحنية. أي تريد ما حمرشلي مبين ماي عين الحنية لكح لأدمه. يوم أحد رأيتي دفنة فديان يشويم تحت عيدس تين عيدس هزي أبش زراعته بعد ما بو دفنة دخيلة دبرتي شلوم ما تعسي ما تا دخلت لكرتها ما تمعسيم أيوم نكيم على دعاين مايم. نحن عسيم بومعقال كل يوم شلشي لا مالو تبو لنا ما تم أنا يفو أنا يفو دبر كذا. آخر كاخ دخلنا للخت الأدمة شلي الكيروت أدمة دخيلوا العزور اللي بعد ما ويلي عدسيم تضارب لهم شتلنا عدسيم غرزنا 4 عدسيم
שנה ראשונה?
כן, זה בעמר ראשונה.
This is the first year that the olive tree is giving olives. איזה יפים הם.
איזה. כשאני רואה זה, אני מבסוט לגמרי, תאמיני.
When I see this, I'm
זה הפמיליה שלי.
totally
זה הפמיליה שלי.
happy. He says, this is my family.
والله מעילתי هذه. شوف. רוצים לחיות בשקט, מספיק. מספיק אלימות, מספיק מלחמות. שנינו הפסדנו. כל בית יש לו בלגן, כל משפחה יש לו, מישהו הלך לה. מספיק. די. צריך אהבה מחדש. איך עושים קפה כל העמים משווים כל שבוע.
Again here in the future, but it seems quite quiet for
Very quiet.
one of the most famous places in Christianity.
Looks like Shabbat, eternal Shabbat.
Bismillah wal-Ibn al-Ruh al-Quds. In the name, Bism al-Ab wal-Ibn wal-Ruh al-Quds. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Ana huwa al-Qiyamah wal-Haq wal-Hayah min Amen. I am that
Christian Shahid.
He's a Christian. Okay.
I must say that I'm shocked to see Bethlehem like that, because before the Intifada, we used to come here to buy things, and it was full of goods and full of people, you know, business was going on. Now it looks like a Sunday, and it's the midweek. It's like a Sunday, you know, amazing. And it looks like nice, but it's a sad story behind it. There's no business. That's what it is, no business.
We've grown from 1 car to 2 cars to 3 cars, and we're going through Bethlehem. We're on our way to the Haisha refugee camp.
Said we're now entering, following the kids to their home, and we're at the entrance to the Haisha refugee camp. Like other refugee camps, it's very, very crowded and narrow because it used to be tents that United Nations distributed in '48 for people for temporary use just for the winter. And eventually it became houses, tin houses and little bit land. And then they had children and grandchildren, everybody stayed to live there. They all stayed refugees for 60 years, it didn't change. So everybody now lives on the little plots where the tents were. So the infrastructure and everything is a big mess.
Do they have water and electricity, all the amenities
They
need?
They have. Actually, in the Haisha camp, they don't pay electricity
Right.
because Yasser Arafat, in his time, he took it that the PA will pay for them.
Right, but rent and all the rest of it, like...
It's quite cheap, and they
So
get some things from
subsidised.
the United Nations, some food,
Uh-huh.
but the conditions are very, very bad. Sewage is usually non-existent and other things.
Wow.
And we will see now as we walk how it's like. With all the smells and all the...
Checkpoint, you can do it here. Thank you, Hamdan. Hamdan?
Ahlam.
Ahlam.
No, it's okay. No problem.
50 people, half of them from Bethlehem, from the Haisha, entering a settlement in 3 cars. It's really a great, but thank God we all came here for a good cause. And I think that's why we managed to get in so beautifully. So it's the district of Bethlehem, and in Hebrew it's called the district of Gush Etzion. And it's dotted by Palestinian towns and villages and Jewish settlements, usually on top of mountains. And we're very close to Bethlehem, it's right there, and the Haisha camp. but the atmosphere is quite different, I think. And we would like also to go around to sense how it is to be here. What are your names?
I'm Ran, Shlomo, and Jonathan.
Hi.
And you?
Ariel.
You're all brothers and sisters?
No, no.
No, just friends going to
She's
the
my
supermarket.
sister.
Ah, you're his sister. And how long have you been living here in Neve Daniel?
We're 20 years.
20 years? How old are you?
No, my family.
Ah, your family, okay.
family's
You were
here
born
20.
here. Do you happen to meet kids from the villages here, from the Palestinian villages like Nachalim or from
No,
Bethlehem?
not really. Why not?
Have you ever met kids from these places? It's hard to get contact. But you know the names of the villages around you? Not really. But you know they're Palestinian. Like you
know
hear
that
the
they're-
muazzin in the night, you see the
Yeah,
green
yeah.
lights. Are you afraid of them? Or
No.
just, no? Do you venture like this patriarch road, Derech Avot? Do you go there sometimes?
Yeah, we walk there, we go on a bicycle there.
So you meet probably some Palestinians coming from that village, Nachalim. From,
Are you making
My
this
not to
spring?
be there.
And how does it feel to meet Palestinians in these places? In the spring? You talk at all? Yeah?
You could play football with them.
Do you speak Arabic?
No,
But how do you communicate? Ah, in Hebrew, and they understand.
they usually know you.
Yeah. So, like, would you like to, sometime in the future, like to befriend them and maybe to have a kind of maybe a joint school or a joint activity together?
Are you guys busy now?
Can you
maybe
show
we'll
us?
maybe we'll play a game together.
Ah,
You ready to play a game with us?
Oh, maybe show
Okay.
us us.
Just go wish to whichever direction, and everybody just keeps on going. Bang switches the direction.
Bang.
Yeah, go
Instead of
bang.
what?
Like this.
Bang.
Bang.
Whoosh. Bang.
Whoosh. Bang. Bang. Freak out.
Huh? We are with Diane, with the All Nations Cafe. Yeah. יש לי כבוד?
מי
חגי.
אתה?
חגי.
מאיפה?
מאיפה אני גר בלונדון, אבל דיין...
מי זה דיין?
דיין זה בחור עם החליפה האדומה שם. אז אנחנו פה קבוצה של ישראלים.
הם כולם ישראלים?
לא, מה פתאום.
כולם עובדים זרים?
למה?
אבל זה שהוא
למה?
לא להיכנס אחרי הצהריים עם מי שאין לו תעודת זהות ישראלית ולא עבר בשער.
עברנו בשער.
והאדון הנכבד?
הנה בוא, יש פה את גברת דפנה רוזנברג שיותר...
שלום, ערב טוב.
ערב טוב גם לך, מה שלומך?
תודה. שמי יורם
איזה אנחנו מכירים, יורם.
מאיפה?
אתה הבן של אדון קאופמן.
נכון. איזה את יודעת?
כן, אני טיפלתי באבא שלך. כמעט שנה.
נכון.
שלום.
שלום וברכה, שכחתי. רוזנברג,
נכון.
רוזנבורג. וואו.
I know this man. I totally recognized him because when I first came to Jerusalem about 6 years ago, it was about 6 years ago, I think.
Yes, I think so.
I was looking for work and I started working for a company that sends people to take care of old people. And they sent me to the house of this man's father, Dr. Kaufman, Mr. Kaufman. And for a whole year, I used to come every week for two times a week for about 3-4 hours and do shopping for him and clean the house and keep him company. And I used to meet Yoram every once in a while when he'd come to visit his father and he'd see me.
I believe it.
And there we go, and there we meet.
Okay.
I've been running together with another person this organization that's called the All Nations Cafe. And it's we started in Jerusalem, in East Jerusalem, about 5 years ago, and now we're sitting near Jerusalem, not far from the Malcha Mall, and we do weekly gatherings with Israelis and Palestinians, meeting different kinds of people, meeting Palestinians, meeting Israelis, meeting settlers, meeting soldiers, meeting children, and wanting to just to hear people, to meet people on a on a heart level. Do you have contact with the villages around here?
Yes, of course. With the neighbor, of course. If we make something, we have parties, we have all the time, we make together parties.
No, but I mean, do you have contact with the Palestinian villages, or for the people from the Palestinian
they
villages?
come to work.
They come to work?
They come to work over here. אבל we live in peace. Well, I don't... so most of the people who live here, the government can speak like this.
what is the government speak there, here is, I think it's different.
Something different from what the government.
אני הולך רגע לסופר, אולי תיכנסו אחרי זה לשתות משהו?
נשמח מאוד.
כן? בסדר?
איפה הבית שלך?
הנה פה.
איזה?
פה, 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 פה.
איזה?
פה, עם הפרגולה בחוץ, עם האופניים.
נהדר. אני אקרא להם לבוא.
כן, כן.
He said, invited us to come into his house.
כולם
נעשה היכרות, נסביר להם מי תמורה. It's okay?
Ready for a coffee?
Yeah, no. Hoti, kaka?
Very nice. It's unbelievable.
Because we came from the refugee camp in Bethlehem and we met the Palestinians there, and then we wanted to come here and like meet people from this place.
מצחיק לומר, אבל אנחנו חברים של ערבים כאן מהסביבה, הם בנו לנו את הבתים, היינו כמו משפחה, שתינו ביחד, אכלנו ביחד, דיברנו על מנהגים ביחד, וזה כל כך מחמם את הלב שדווקא אצלי בבית, זה ממש, איך את אומרת, סייעתא דשמיא, שדווקא אצלי בבית מתכנסים הכינוס הזה של הביחד הזה, מכל עמי ומי, מכל הארצות, ושרק יהיה באמת שלום ואהבה בינינו ובין השכנים.
We met 3 or 4 Jewish children in the street. After playing games, I think I feel Jewish children and the Palestinian children have more closer in the feelings.
All his family lives here and this is their land and they have sheep and donkeys.
بشارك أنا معاك ومع أصحابنا في قهوة كل الأمم في عدة نشاطات، لقاءات بين يهود، بين عرب، بين فلسطينية.
الإيجابي يكون لازم يكون سلام على الحقيقي، مش كذب والناس حرية يمشوا زي ما بده، الواحد يروح يجي، ما واحد يقول له وين رايح. وهيك أنا أحب يعني أشياء زي هذه، ما واحد يقول لك وين رايح، أروح من هنا للبحر الميت ما واحد لازم يقول لي وين رايح، أروح للقدس ما واحد يقول لي وين رايح. هيك أنا أحب يعني الإجابة.
أنا الفكرة تبعتي إنه إحنا إن وجدنا على الأرض هذه شعبين فيش مجال إلا لازم نعيش مع بعضنا بأمان وسلام. الحل إذا زي الحكومة الحين ما بتتصرف الحين، مثلا إنهم يسووا جدار من هون وجدار من هون وجدار من هون، هذا الإشي ما بيجيب السلام.
هم يصرف ما في نهره
وكل واحد يسوي وبحس زي ما بده بالطريق، فيش طريق واحدة للكل. The labyrinth is a kind of a parable for life, for the journey we do in life. The first part is a journey inwards, then we have a space where we stay in the center. And the second part is a journey outwards. Once we've been inwards, we're going out to life.
I think I have a Jewish background. I've been to Israel several times. The first time in 1965 with a very idealistic group of people. Very few of them were Jewish. We spent 3 months on a kibbutz. We worked in a hospital. It was a very idealistic period, and everyone, the whole world was enthusiastic about the Israel project, and I was. And I stayed very enthusiastic, and obviously deep in my heart I have great sympathy for the Jews, what they've been through over the centuries, and in recent times the Holocaust, etc., etc. So the idea of a Jewish homeland or a Jewish state was very appealing. But gradually as time went on, and no one heard about the Palestinians in those days. It was as if they didn't exist. But as time went on, one heard more and more, and there were wars, there were intifadas, etc., etc. Public opinion swung away from Israel towards the Palestinians. And then I also started to think, because peace wasn't that straightforward, there was another party involved. And then I started taking an interest in the Palestinians and trying to understand their point of view, realizing that only by bringing them into the equation could you really ever find a long-term solution.
Wonderful, wonderful people that have organised this. Daphne and Diane and all the other people that sit behind those two have done a wonderful job, to make me feel welcome and into their hearts and into their country. And it's been a wonderful week, and I actually don't want to go home.
In terms of the aim of the project, is to make contact with Palestinians, to try and understand the problem, and to show how the All Nations Cafe tries to bring all sides together. I think that was a great success, and again, a great many wonderful experiences.
I think the media portrays such the wrong message. I think I'm just amazed at how beautiful the people are in terms of they want peace, Arabs and the Jews. Ultimately it is about the peace process, and they both want that so much. It's in their hearts, except of course for the extremists, but then they've got their own agenda. But they both want peace, and I think that they know that from the other. I think each one of them know that.
I'm still optimistic. I wake up in the morning with a smile on my face. I don't watch the news. And I know that my parents want to raise me in a nicer world than they have been raised in. And I came here to help them do it.